Hello, I'm late today. I don't know, is there anybody? Yeah, it was. So two, probably one of them I am. I'm sorry, so for last week I have my CNC machine broken, malfunctions. So today was a day when I had an arrangement with guys who maintain it. So I haven't expected, but as a result I got late. So give me a bit fresh air, 5 minutes please. So my workshop at the 5th floor, and the 5th floor without elevator, so I just fly up today here and a bit, I don't know how to say it in English. Anyway, I hope you're watching it in recording, so you will not be see this postponing to this delay. So this is the portal we did last time, so I started to divide it as you see here. I haven't done flowers yet, tested with brushes, you know, the collection of brushes on available on ZBrush on forum, quite popular now. So it is digital clay digital clay brush. So those are interesting, but I found them not useful for sculpting, though they could add some interesting looks. They has rakes, quite interesting rakes, and so I haven't finished it yet. And what I want to do today is this one and this void, and it is half mechanical, so we should that's what we were talking about before, so that nothing appear from nothing, so everything should be somehow explained. And here, that's our quest right now. So to make this wallet somewhere disappear and somehow transform into this canvas. So usually it is a canvas just cover the wallet like that, but the original sketch, if you remember the original sketch, I could it isn't so. And sometimes the central vein of a canvas has some additional decorative elements, like steps or another flowers put it on it at the center. So probably this is the case, and probably this is the step. This division typical for Baroque, and this leaf not far from Baroque. I mean, it is not Baroque, but it is somehow the style is transformed or was around that. So if you have a look here, so this is the profile. I'm sorry. So this is the profile. It is getting here. Let's say this is just pure profile. So this one transform into the eye here, and so that's what we are going to do today. But I'll check the yeah, chat open. Yeah, I could try to, you know, I could try to keep it open on my phone. the link to the stream. Okay, not today, but yeah, I'll try. So, no, thank you. It's not a problem. So, what I want to talk about right now is, if you remember, before we were done a mantle, and I was speaking about the general volume, left, right side, and how the working with covers improved my sculpting for me. So it is interesting. So yes, this one, yeah, if you remember this one, I've tested it with different. So this one, and even here was a test of this, yeah, this one, if you remembered it. So it is just a render in ZBrush, just fast rendered. I'm looking for something to post on ZBrush Central. And the guy who carved has an Instagram page, and he posted the video of how he do it, of how he doing it. So this video, and is it possible to make it bigger? I'm sorry, not, and even sound could not be deleted. But what I want to show you here is that here doing it from the big volume, from the genial shape, from the, you know, he defining it first, and then, and he worked, you see here, he worked left, right. He do not work details on one side only. He worked left, right, and so I was right. I just, you know, I just improvement of my words for you, and the importance of the general volume, of the simple volume, of the volume which we could get here. For example, I've tested it and it didn't work with this entire scene last stream, but it maybe will working for this simple detail. So project all, remesh all, we will have a look at the remeshing. And when you do remeshing, a part of all the other approaches, it make the shell bigger, and and also make this lower layered view. Okay, so, and here we could see, okay, that even after remeshing, yes, let's choose this one and do the oops, I'm sorry. So even with this painted view, yeah, heavily painted view, there's mantle, these profiles, this the core still has somehow something distinguishable. And I showed this last stream, and I'm going to show it now. I'm constantly collecting good examples, bad examples from internet, just everything I met in the internet. So here is a great example. The guys, I do not remember who, probably from Norway somewhere, but anyway, they're in friends in LinkedIn. We are in friends in LinkedIn. So you see the view, the plaster, the decorative plaster often look like that. And often when the client do restoration, he do not want to look it otherwise, because it is old, it's looking old, and if the money for refurbishment aren't big, then it may stay looks like that, but actually it looks like that. So there are many details in it. So this one you see here, and how much details actually are here. Those central vein, the leaves, scratches on the leaf. You see here this underscore, the these are the fragile ribbon of this flower, and here as well. This one reminded what I showed when we sculpted the umbrella. You do remember some kind of up, some kind of up, and somehow down here. It is more subtle here, but it is still here. The ribbon here is just amazingly subtle, and that's what it was, and that's what we see, including museum often, just because of the restoration. It was made, maybe wasn't made, and the plaster always painted. There could be a lot of layers of paint over it, and even for stone covers it is not actual. For bronze casting, for wood covers, it is less harmful than for fibrous plaster, and that's why we see awful Chinese examples which isn't even remotely remind anything like Baroque or Classical, just because they were taken from the bad picture and somebody didn't understand what's going on actually there. So I want to show to you here as well a mantle, another one. So this is wood carving. Yeah, it was also almost definitely painted before, because this simple wood, it is like a birth G with white. So, and breathe, birth. Oh, I'm sorry. So it was almost definitely painted also as well. And go back to this example. So you see, it is slightly remind us what we had here on our original picture. Yeah, so that's what we've got here. Some mess, and here, if you put it like that far away, so it is close. Yeah, and it is still readable. And for my opinion, if you want to achieve this look, the look of overpainted many times, it is better to use this approach to sculpt something well, something sculpted, maybe not such details or detailed as this one, of course, but anyway, carefully detailed. And it is important as well to keep the general volume, the composition understandable and readable from far side. So I just protected my approach, sculpting from the general, from the entire design, composition, sculpting like that. So finding the plane of general volume, the low frequency volume, and then follow deeper into the details. Okay, because for example here, if we have a look at these flowers, it is somehow we feel like it has some direction here, but it is extremely hard to control this direction now here. So we do not see. Actually, I do not see. Myself now I do not see what the direction, how they flow, how the flow of these flowers. Probably when I will start to define them, I will most definitely do some from scratch again, some smoothness, and try to figure out what do I want here. So that's what I wanted to show, just like for conversation. This one we do not need it. It is just delete. It is just, yeah, have I deleted? Yeah, deleted. Okay, so that's all. Not for the day, but so now, so this one, how to define, how to make it more precise, how to sculpt it. So that's hard. So that's interesting task, I will say. I'm constantly, constantly doing it in different ways, trying to figure out which one is the best. So one of the best, and how was done, those long, I'm sorry, those long curves you see here, was just, I have a general volume, pretty perfect, and then I've started to carve over it, and because with a very, very subtle brush, the brush wasn't hard, so it was, you see here 20, so I've carved that with around 12. By default it probably 25, I do not remember exactly. So with a very subtle, and then when you, so and then when you move it, you just, just slightly, and it's getting smoother and smoother. But doing this for this more mechanical shape, like, it is a bit less comfortable. So somehow I should now convert it, and I want this ribbon to this edge, this what that plate to be here as well, and transform into this, and then transform into this. So it doesn't look like simple task for me. So what I usually do, I have a few instruments in the grasshopper. Do you know grasshopper? So if you watch my streams on Tuesday, Monday, always Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Wednesday, then you probably have seen it. It's a new ceiling design. I promised it to show. So, and you see everything generated by. So you see here mesh, and this mesh was generated automatically by this script. If we change now a profile, it is risky for us to change to put some of them here. So which one to take? This one, this one, this one. Yeah, this one, smallest one. So let's put this one here, and it will be regenerated. Yeah, now we have another profile here. So you see the mesh regenerated. The mesh here is another one, and so the general and that's just absolutely order. So we have a perspective. So here in perspective, you see in the better see in the mesh. I'm sorry for the reddish view. It is standard here. So this is the mesh, this is our profile, and we used here another profile. Which one? Do not remember. Just Ctrl Z, and probably it will be returned. So yes, you see it is here right now. Is order profile. So everything is generated on the fly. So ZBrush has a limited function for procedural working, and for example, I could show you also I worked a year ago. It will be pretty soon finished, and I could have a good pictures. So I had an interesting project Interesting project. And so here maybe here, yes. So it was like a huge tree in the interior, like, so there are some recessed ceiling here, okay, for ventilation purpose and just for beauty. Here's a kitchen, and the tree of knowledge. The client are elders guys, elder couple, and they live the good life. They wanted to, you know, like they are already smart with no, some other words is here, so they are knowledgeable persons, and this is the tree of knowledge here, and they wanted it as to keep them. And here at the when we started to define the shape, we did it, you know, very long. We've been looking for this stem, but finally we come to the conclusion. So they wanted this tree somehow hug them. So this is one huge palm, another one huge hand, probably not palm here, so hand, and some more small trunks inside. So that was sketches. And finally we come to this design, and the design wasn't simple one, so this is what I gave to the guys who did installation. So yeah, the main trunks, which are kind of hand hung in the space, smaller one, and the smallest, and I did define the radii, because that was produced, it isn't banded just accidentally, so they needed radiuses. So I did provide radiuses. So there are 3 types of radiuses. So for this one, 3 types for this one, 2 types for that one, and so finally we've got this look. Also I did the fast preview render for the position of lights, because of the lights was there were some doubts. So you see some of them darken, but this is pretty well looking. So anyway, and I did it in ZBrush partly not, because I did the sculpting in ZBrush, so I wanted to keep that all together. So here the preview, the lights are spheres, like apples. So it is the tree of knowledge. So and you see so a few levels of beams. It is you know, it is these beams, although the profile for these beams aren't classical at all, isn't classical at all. So it is, you see, it is more like in airplane design, just some straight and soft edges here. So but and so it is the installation process, the guys doing installation here, and it was quite happily finished. And more close to ZBrush, okay, we had here an texture of sculpted leaves, and this texture was I do not remember is the pictures, every pictures is here, But so on the stem, the first initial picture, so you see here, it looks like it is, you know, what it, because of those vein everywhere at the center of every leaf, it is just awful. And another view, another view, another view, and then I changed it. Okay, so it is not a finished result. So you see here that leaves intersected, and the leaves intersected. So, but I kept it, and this is more close to the final result. Okay, and this is the final result. So this is the final result. Yeah, I remember. So you see here we have actually it was painted white finally. Unfortunately, I like this contrast here. The idea is that because of this perpendicular surface and perpendicular pipe, so this pipe perpendicular surface, we could not give the trunks come from the stem. So because of that, I did here a hole with light, by the way, and it is just flow there, somewhere there, and then the leaves between those leaves between, could we see here? Oh no, there's no picture, and so that's just, yeah, here. So this is the search for the lower part. So, and so what I want to say that I'm using here the scatter, of course. So because of you see here initially the leaves okay to be bad, awfully bad. So this less accentuated vein looks much better. It do not take the attention, so much attention on itself. And you see, and this procedural, the division between, so I did 5 leaves probably. Around 5 leaves I did 2 left, 2 right, and maybe 6 even, because the central one probably was only 1. So yeah, I used here the scattering, but the scattering, you know, if you open up here, let's do it in another way. Boom. Grace. Which one to show you? There were so many variants. So even the leaf placement. Okay, what is this? Yeah, that's only 1 leaf. So yeah, that was design. I designed 1 leaf like that, 1, and then I had also, probably we could open it here. File open. Okay. Wall. That's the wall, the general shape. Okay. Okay, let's trust it. Not this one. Though. So I wrote the script here, like this one. I'm trying to now. So this is not what I want to show you. File just here, new file open here the stall one probably, then maybe stall this one. Okay, so many files were generated during the process. Not this one. Oh, why is this? It was division to the parts for carving, so I could show this. It is important as well. So for carving, I've used it divided, so rendered. So it was divided to parts, to many parts, and carved one by one, then just compiled like that. And you see here so many leaves, the trunks between them coming from, and it was also I used here a huge cutter, so 6mm one, to simplify this shape, to make shape more solid, to make shape more less detailed and more some kind of looking as polished stone probably. Okay, so I could not, sorry, it was 1 year ago, I do not remember the names of files. Plane, spiral, that's again circles, that's not important. Boom, 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 boom. This one? No, again. So anyway, I did script here instead of what the ZBrush offers. So this leaf, tested leaf, aren't symmetrical. Isn't symmetrical. I'm sorry. This leaf isn't symmetrical. And what I did in the script, I figured out which point close to each found the closest point, then measured the distance between this line between those points and between those points. By that I figured out which part is the top of the leaf. So because top of the leaf closer to the central points, and using that information and perpendicular to this surface, I've put it here the pre-designed lift. So here we have yeah, kind of that. So this leaf, you see again, it is it has something to show even from the big distance, large distance. So this leaf has some low frequency volume, so this is, and the central vein is just simple curve here. Okay, I've added also later some subtle details here, because I did where is this? How to find it? That's not that. Yeah, the last part at the bottom was like this one. So yeah. So boom, 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 boom. Yes. So yes. So I did. This is. You see, I even left some of the parts of this. You see here the carvings are left as they are, and some here, because I needed. It is the texture and the top. The same leaves was used for this texture as well. So, and just testing in different colors, because I felt, I felt like this one not enough. This is not enough. Not enough details. So I add some curves here, defining the leaf direction also as well slightly. And is there pictures or no pictures? No pictures. So could I find them? So I'm not sure I could show you more pictures right now, but anyway, so I'm just saying right now about that. I'm using this instrument, the grasshopper, for ZBrush for some reasons, particularly in this case because of the spreading with tool like fiber mesh, or not fiber mesh, like nano mesh. Spreading with nano mesh will not allow to you to use the direction. So in this way I could design separately the structure, the movement, the flow separately, and separately use the maybe this one. Something here, no. Oh, it's open slow, so no, this one not. What we see here, the early addition of leaves, it was the initial sketch. Firstly, there were another trunks, but finally I decided not to use them, so I wanted them as joining to this, but decided not to use it later. So and also what is important as well is that this design, if we open it up, so if you see here, they have every trunk separate here, and I could generate them. I haven't used this as well for a long time, so I do not know it doesn't work or not. It doesn't for some reason. But anyway, so designing that without parametric modeling, actually, for my opinion, will be kind of hard, not even, maybe even impossible review on. So what I did here, so I use 3 points for each circles, defining these points, and then I did this kind of movement. So I always was sure that it is ready, and always was sure that the ready the same. You see here this point wasn't moved because I have here the defining of the ready now. So I simplify. When I started to simplify, I started to put the connection to the radio which were close to each other, and so designing with tools from the CAD, from the knowing these tools is, for my opinion, just compulsory sometimes. Rely on the tools which were for later, the ZBrush, and will they do more work for the procedural, or will not, will sometime or ever ZBrush remind the Houdini or not. So I do not know. So let's go back to our not myself, Slav, to our Kamin. Kamin is Russian mantle, so fireplace, Russian. So So yeah, and so now back to here. So I have a script written, if it is still here. Yeah, what another example, a very good one. Another very good example. So you see here what it is so this is a wall, okay, and this is one pattern of this wall, and we could define here a few parameters like size of this wall, the step of this repetition, and some kind of how this is divided, the frequency for this wall, okay, and division for another direction, how much this, oh, too much, it will stuck for a while. Okay, so 62 is more than, so let's try it. 10. Yeah, думаю. Okay. And so it is immediately a generated mesh here. So it generates mesh here. So you see some imperfection, of course, something to fix by hand, of course, but it is anyway here, and we could took this mesh, bake it, and send it to oh no, where we will be on the to ZBrush. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And this one. So yes, it is here. So you see, we've generated a mesh, a unique one, and I've later cut it, and so I have here the picture we've sent to client just to justify it. So this is my attempt to write my preview. Here is yeah, and we have perfect, unique, fast design for the client. So that's the generative art. That's the power of Grasshopper with ZBrush in this case, because what I did in ZBrush is I've slightly, you see here the profile isn't perfect. Okay, so if I will do subdivision here, and so I did deformation and polish crisp edges here, and slightly off, maybe before. So kind of that. So this preparation was also important, and that's why I think that it is related to ZBrush anyway. So and that's what we've got, you know, just with a few movement of slider, we got here absolutely another style, another design, and so let's find what I was intend to show you related to our topic with mantle. So here somewhere. Place the foliage, so that was a that's a long one, so that's contours with midline, probably this one, huh? No, that's not the case. So yes, I remember this one. So this one is also useful script. What it does, it generates let's have a look. So it generates the mesh based on the shape, and here I had stuck with this for not for every shape it works. So I have two curved line, and I generate kind of this roof type profile here. But for this for those two profiles it doesn't work. For reason because you should better understand the grasshopper for that. So if you have a look here, so it generates the middle line, but it generates the middle line somehow bad, and because of that we have skewed those elements, and here I have two spikes, one spike and two spikes. But for simpler shape it works perfect. So just do not remember, always put the names. So this for that doesn't matter. So not what we're talking about. Where is this the last one I wanted to show? I did it. Zontic. So Zontic I've showed you, yes. Slow spiral, low spiral profile to set. Yes, the repositioning. So this one is also interesting. So it is on the top right now. So it is a cornice. You see, just quite typical cornice. And what we could do here is change its size and adjust the proportion of elements inside of it. So like this one. So for example, make this one, I do not believe it is useful here, so kind of smaller, and this one up. So we now have absolutely other corners of the particular size. Then it is easy to bake it, and then we use here profile to section. Yes, this one, and here we choose this one as the reference. Bake it, set curve. I'm sorry, it should be curve and not surface. So, and we have here the ready for sculpting over it decorative corners. So the corners to sculpting, so we could bake it. There could be surprises with normals, but what is this? Yeah, this one. Just I'm demonstrating the same name just for demonstration purpose. So we have here instead of this one import. So yeah, so this is our profile. We divide it a few times for sculpting. Now could just do or remesh or perspective, doing remesh or whatever, and try to I'm pressing all the time wrong button. Every program has its own key combination, so perspective, so this is our corners, so we could carve here already. So let's I don't know, geometry, decimate, yes, decimate, not too much, not enough, oh, okay, so it is ready for sculpting now. It is ready for sculpting now, so we could make here decorative elements. We need some, I don't know. So that just, you know, another part of what I could maybe teach someday, and what I recommend to, you know, to learn somehow. Because so yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty straightforward. If you know the geometry, what is great about Grasshopper, that you could you know, do something like line, another line, intersection, put in this intersection the center, and another line here, another line, so intersection, and then you will create some radii which will pass to points, and to define the radii, so you will find another point. So kind of, it is less the Grasshopper less programming than working in geometry space. The only drawback the flow is that you do not draw on the screen, but I often draw here to better understand what I want to achieve, and some trigonometry needed, but only if you want to simplify. For example, it is simpler to find this line, those 2 points, just with trigonometry, although you could draw this line and you see the intersection. So I use both parts when I do designs for the later redesigning it on pastiche design. I do it more mathematically. So while I'm speaking here, I'm looking for a particular script for the task we were initially. I'm sorry, just because of, you know, I'm late today, so maybe because of that, so some mess in my thoughts. Facade, position, fish, fabric, flat, no, why is lost? Okay, so let's try to find it this way. So collections, myself, Grasshopper, sort by time, date, date, sort by date, profile section, Horn stand for French round center camera test, IG full sections, sort by date, utilize laser, it's not that. Yeah. Stripe profile, is it? Stripes to profile. So what it's needed is yes, probably. So let's have a look. Here we have 4 points. Yes, it is. So let's try. What this script particular does. It took, let's go to our profile, mantle. So we took here a surface, the central surface, carefully painted. Okay, I'm trying to get it, maybe even with this one will be better. Okay, and just trying to make it fast right now. The only purpose. So we put it up here probably. So okay, and what I wanted. I so eagerly work now that I have even broken my key on the keys on the vacuum. So let's do this simple at the moment. So, but I actually probably needed this one as well here. So let's do it like that. So let's do it like that. So not awkward, just some mess right now. So we will fix it later. Okay, we will fix it later. Although, yeah, okay. Just do it later. Maybe we'll not even do it here. So, and I need this one, by the way. I need this one. Do not need this one. Need this one. This one. I did something wrong here, so let's test as it is, and then we'll define what we do need and what we do not need. So maybe better to do it on somewhere abstract. So duplicate it, duplicate, Ctrl V. Okay, so we have here our geometry, modify topology, delete hidden, auto group, they look hidden. So yes, what we have here is something absolutely awful, some mess of mesh, and what I want to do is try to figure to get from this something useful. Okay, maybe some information, some useful information from it. Which one? Pum 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 pum. Okay, let's take this part at the moment because it is simple and understandable. Okay, and simple and understandable. So put here something like something like that. So not the hidden, it will be okay later. So export I'm sorry. Да, Слав. Слушай, купил я эту штуку, да, ну попозже, хорошо, я сейчас стримлю просто. Ага. So let's say patch, I don't know what it is, just patch. Okay, and where we put it, so it's here. So now file import. So we open up OBJ, put it here, path, okay, and here we should have our mesh. Okay, the mesh is here. What the script does, so we should define 4 points, set multiple points, and we point here object snap 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope this order is right. Not everyone on the surface. Let's try again. Set multiple points. 1, 2, 3, 4. No one. What's going on? And near point mid center, so many vertex, probably. Set multiple points. So noisy. So let's try this one, then that one, then that one, then that one. So we should have still 4 points. Yes. Okay. And we set the mesh here. And what it is generate for us, what it will generate for us, if the order of points, so I could mess it right now, so we will see did I or not, because I used this script a long time ago, so that's why. So what we've got here, yeah, some kind of mess, but why it is important to understand. So let's have a look. Here we have one rail, here we have another rail. So the rails are okay. So what I want to show you is here. Okay, so what we have here 2 rails from that mesh, gotten from that mesh. Then I use those rails to simplify the situation. So I simplify those rails here, smooth them, one of them probably, yes. Not enough of smoothness just. And it has here some tricky part, so we should smooth it just higher. And let's check fix our mesh. Do not have this one, that one. So tricky a bit. So we have this one much smoother. Maybe I use wrong order as well, so, but maybe if we have here reverse the order of points, no, it doesn't important. So how to avoid this element, I'm thinking now. So maybe add more smoothness here, just because here what we do is smoothness isn't here, I'm sorry, smoothness is here. smoothness is here, and yeah, kind of that. So it is overdone now, because if we compare it to the mesh we have exported it, so too smooth now. Probably better to have better mesh. Okay, and so let's have a look what we've got here. So we still have wrong positioning. So we have our profiles automatically generated, but we do not have them done backwards. So, and this mesh even was not created. So what have happened? Here I had some meshes, I could use those. This one is, the reason is because this one uses a specially drawn profile. So if you have a look on the top surface, somewhere here should be the profile created, but it is not important at the moment. So back to our mesh. I should figure out, sorry, just why the script is wrong. Or maybe better to fix not the sculpting, but to fix this patch. To fix this patch. What it will done for us later, when we finish it, is so here. So we define the point near the corners. We cut there the mesh. Okay, we smoothed two rails defined for the usage. Then it is here. So we have here. So probably somewhere here we have something wrong. So yes, this is our okay. Some of them, for some reason, you see the planes are positioned wrong, not in the same. That surprises. That is a surprise. So it was generated based on the mesh normal. Okay. No, closest point to the mesh. So this is our mesh. This is the. So what we did, we created the lines to define the X of the surface, and you see X is everywhere right position. And yes, of course, our surface, and then we find closest point, and we create the plane. Closest point, line point oriented. So the point isn't on the top of the surface. So that's the problem. So what I think I could do is just transform point higher, and just that should be a solution. So we use vector here, should be parameter point. So yeah, we could use mesh, and so we have here mesh and parameter, and we have our direction, so vector amplitude. So I'm doing script right now because it wasn't done and probably 5 will be enough. Yes, and you see now every plane has right direction. So what we've got here, we've got here mesh based on the cross sections made in assumption of this curve. Okay, it isn't perfect at all. So probably to work this instrument properly, we should here either have less smoothness. Okay. Oh yeah, it will be completely broken. So, and how close it is for our initial mesh? It is very close. It is very close to our initial mesh. So probably if we will do something like that. Okay, we could simplify something somewhere here. The profile we use here. The profile we use here. The profile comes from the, so we do reposition here. Okay, so this is a cross section. So we do here cross section. The cross section based on the surface, so that's why it is pretty close. Okay, and then we reposition those cross section at the center. So if we have a look at the top here, so this is our cross section, all of them, and we do them. That's the strong simplification. So we just divide every curve here by the number, some number here, 50. So we could use a lower number, and so here it was 50. Okay, and we use here. Okay, now the one is limit here. So let's assume, and let's have a look at the perspective here. So you see what we are doing here is we simplify our mesh, and it is pretty close to our mesh. So this is kind of parametrical approach, which is not so in ZBrush you could do remeshing by yourself, but if you do not sure, if you want to sculpt and again later do it again, so it could be an issue. What I have forgotten when I started to show this tool is that I need a perfect edge here. This one, the rail should be perfect. So before starting to do any job here, I should figure out where will I be cutting this mesh to have a perfect smooth edge. Preferably, maybe even to use it like so. What we could do here, we could use separate meshes for profiles, getting profiles, and for the rails. So I will make sure now. I will take now the more precise mesh to make our profile, our rails. Okay. So and export it as a rail. Okay. And then here import file, import the rail, and use here the rail instead of the set one mesh here, and but still use the for the profiles another mesh. So what I want is to take this mesh, the original mesh, and put it somewhere near here, and just to be to see it. Okay, and we will take now our new mesh, our old mesh. So set multiple, set another, set mesh. Okay, and instead of this mesh I will use it for the profile another one. So now hide the meshes. So we have here imperfection. Interesting enough. So where it came from, but yeah, because we use the rail as so yeah, here the rails anyway needed. Although, yeah, the demonstration isn't work. That's happens sometimes. Maybe I will intrigue you, and next time we'll show what I finally have gotten. So the rail here, yeah, I substitute the last point with the rail point. Yes, that's what I'm doing here. If we will use just the point from here and will not do substitution, probably we will have better mesh. So yes, and something wrong with rails. The rail here has notch. Why? Does it have here as well? Looks like no. Looks like no. Looks like no. So what's wrong then? Okay, hide it to hide it. Hide this one, and let's have a look here. So what we have? We have good rails, by the way, here, and maybe the smoothness is too much even. So we could use less smoothness, more precise it will be then. Okay, and here is yeah, that it should be seen. So we still have, so our mesh probably has this notch. Yeah, I know why this happened. So this has happened because of this actually. Because of this actually. And yeah, because of this. And the last one isn't okay as well. Probably because of something wrong with the normal here, with this one. No, this one okay. The mesh. So maybe we have more profile here. No. Yes, we have shorter this one, and therefore it has. Okay. But anyway, it is useless now. So we haven't got great topology, and we haven't got what I wanted initially. Okay, so because what I wanted actually was so we could try to what's going on here. Do you remember? I don't. So this is where I took our initial curve, and we see plane where it is intersected with this one. Yes, what I did here. Yeah, interesting, by the way. Set multiple points, and what we do here, we put here points like those. And then we will have preview. Okay, the points aren't on the surface. So where's our surface? Surface here. So we should use here a points, set multiple points. So we plate here point, 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 point. Okay. Then we will have something useful. Not exactly useful, but this is our profile. This is our profile. So this is actual profile. So this is what we have made right now. So because of it is recreated based on the perspective here. So too much of the elements to even for me to understand what's going on. So hide this one. So what I did, I used here 3 points to create more points actually than 3, but it is not important. To create a plane somewhere where I think the profile is right one. I didn't choose, by the way, right one, but that's just for demonstration purpose. Then we do intersection between this plane and this curve. So here we recreate the plane here to be exactly on the rail. So to be exactly on the rail. So that's what I'm doing here. And also we could rotate here. Oh, okay. We could rotate. I have forgotten. So we could rotate it. So boom, 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 boom. But we also will be better to mirror it as well. Rotate as well, but mirror it. So rotate it, and what we could do here is transform mirror. Instead of this, instead of our curve, our cross sections, we could here try to recreate this with more understanding. Okay, let's have a look what's going on there. Not there. Perspective. So this is our intersection, and the intersection. Okay, we use there the mesh taken from there. So Therefore we have here edge, so this we could put here just straight down. So what we have here therefore is something, the picture like that one. So we polyline, so object snap, create snap, so something like that we have here. Yes, so we have here our profile is kind of that one. Do you believe it will work? Set one curve, and we will have here preview, perspective. Yeah, something more useful than that mess. So something more useful than that mess. So let's bake it and let's see what will this looks. Export selected, again the same because it's just demonstration. So oh, it is inverted. Why it is there? What's happened? What have happened? Okay. Closes our original, no, not closed. So yes, we have this one retopologed. It is higher a bit because of we mirrored and rotate that. So probably just move it. No, better to define it there. I mean, put it on the surface somehow. So let's just do it here. You'll better understand what's going on here. No, not here. So here we could move it lower. Yeah. Multiply by 1 is -1 our shift. The shift will be, I don't know how much, but let's assume around 10 millimeters. And this is our X shift, not X shift, Y shift. Yeah, it's now even mirrored. Funny enough. So yeah, what I wanted is to shift it just the plane. Okay. Okay, it is better than. It is better than do something like that. Transform vector Y and use this one here. and transform this one slightly lower and use it here and here, and we will have surprisingly yeah, so closer to our surface, something closer to our surface. Okay, so break it. It's open all the time in the new one, so delete. I thought it is in the past. It's the same. So many. That's the pain of ZBrush. Sometimes so many objects, they has even the same name. What the difference is just when it was created. I do not know. So this one delete, this one delete, and this one is yeah. Display properties in flip. So this one. So and we have here our retopology close to the one we wanted to the one we needed. So what I want actually to do here, so what I will do today here, not in the stream probably, but I will use the same. So I will work on this script further on, because so yes, you could sit here and redraw everything, but I'm not sure will I resculpt it again or not. So because of that, I want to have just take a surface. Okay, it's separate surface for, as we figured out here, the script wasn't finished, but so we could use separate one for the top and bottom, but I could use here, for example, two of those elements. So we have here our initial curve for creating profile. Okay, so here we took this one and for example redefine this one, set multiple points, 1, 2, doesn't work, so multiply because object snap was switched on. Set multiple points, so we put point here, put point somewhere at the center, and somewhere here. That will define this cross section, and then we will define another one here at the end. Set multiple points, and we will define another one here. So somewhere 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then another one. So and the rotation could be similar as I see now. Okay, here that could be with the same rotation. So do not. Okay, and what we will have here, we will rotate it down to the surface we need it, and then I will create two separate profiles for this one and for that one, and even I will try to understand better those steps here, and because they are subtle, by the way. If we have now this cross section looking like this, it is very subtle. So what we have here, is surprisingly the plane is so we should create plane. The plane is we should here, but it's not important. So we could just transform this one around the mirror it around the vector xz plane. So this one we will not show, and we put it here as well, this one. So now we have slightly better situation. So this profile we have created for this one. Okay, maybe separate and maybe even bigger. Okay, separate it. So now we have them relatively similar. You see here, yes. So if we put there the profile here, so yes. So if I had time, you will not see all those mistakes today, because I will test it on this particular ornament. Now I'm thinking it is better to take the rail from different meshes, to take the mesh, this one mesh and that one mesh, and create rails based on that. So so yes, we have here this thickening which I do not want to be here, and we have here this step which I want to be here, and it is almost unrecognizable here on the profiles we have. So let's hide them and set one, the biggest one. So this is the biggest one, and we have cross section here. Let's have this cross section seen here. So this is oh, we have here opened file. So here we have our profiles. Which one? This one is which is bigger is this one. So yes, maybe it was taken not in the most harsh, in the most contrast part. It is taken somewhere here. It is taken somewhere here. So here, not enough. So very subtle the result, I mean, top. So very subtle. So we want to keep this probably skew slightly. Then there is another. So let's let's do it or not do it. That's the question. So okay, we have two options here, and I just wanted to show you. Actually, I had hoped to make it today online fast, and maybe if I seated here in the morning and prepared for that, I did it. But I've encountered a few issues. So here you see, it is the way. If you have a good smooth lines here, so and we could easily have something like that. Then we will just have retopology for that part, for better sculpting, for whatever, and we will have separate smoothness. The smoothness for the division for this will be regulated here for this direction, and the division for that direction will be regulated here. So you see, and that was the initial idea. I started to do this script a while ago for the preparation for the course on ZBrush. Oh, we have disappeared that one. So with this smoothness, you see, I mean the mesh here, it is seen through that, and we could see that our mesh, so let's make it lighter, our mesh is quite follow the original one, quite following it. We have here mistakes related to the rail, because we use rail from the smaller one, and it is getting back to that rails. Don't know why. Shouldn't, probably should check this out. But so one of these instruments I will use to redefine this element. So I promise next time not to show all the process, but to show how fast it is. So next time, because I already will have this done, so I will just keep this one untouched, and pass that way with you, with those scripts I've been waiting. Maybe it is not interesting, not important for you. This is just another way to thinking over, another way to sculpting, another way to coming to the and you know, for my opinion, sculpting faster. For example, I do not know which profile is here, so I could not now just started. I do not know what the bending here, so how to, so if I will do it in Maya or in another program, in Rhino as well, just plain one, it will not give me the right result. Now when I have it almost defined, I could, based on those points, recreate the surface, and now it is the time. The point is how to get the information from this mesh, and that's what I'm thinking about, and that's what's tricky for me right now. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry for for wasting your time this day. I were more spoken than giving you useful information. It is live stream, and so sometimes it's happened. Anyway, hope to see you next time, and hope this will be redone and worked. And by the way, next time what we will do, what I should do, we should finish this the ceiling design with umbrella. It is already was measured on this on C2, so the guys already started to do profile the moldings. So the moldings will be on the place next week, and they started to bother me about the decoration. And so umbrellas will already I will carve the umbrellas when I fix the CNC machine, and the additional elements, the last leaves for it. We remember we were sculpting the leaves, and the decorative element for the main decorative element for the beams we should sculpt next time. Those aren't tricky, but I hope we will do it fast as well. And I will do the demonstration of what I have started this. You see, it is already promising, aren't it? Maybe I'm just protecting, championing myself, championing my approach, but it is already promising. So we have cut a piece of mesh here, haven't done anything to it, and just the mesh here on the place, the simplified one right now. And what I want now is to make the transformation from this profile, short one to long one, and it is quite actually simple. So what we do is we just because it is curve, so we use here the curve transformation in curve. So here A curve, B curve, and that's something middle, and something middle already here. So I will create a few of them automatically between, and then that's the trickish part. That is, I do not want to show you it is right now. To create the mesh, I need to have the same amount of points, okay, for every profile. So if we, for example, I will use here the number of the cross section we have here. Okay, so cross sections we have here. Use number of cross sections for here, and we will create here the same amount of the copy between those curve, and that will work, but that will not give us the point, the repetition. You know that everyone. So what doesn't work here right now? Yeah, here with this mesh is that I'm just using dividing of this curve of those cross section here by 23. So we have here 23 lines, and just that. So I do not analyze the mesh, the angles. So the mesh, this particular algorithm just take the length of the curve and divide it by the. There's something that should be something smarter to make this something smarter. So for example, if we're speaking about the smarter, so we could use the curvature component to try to analyze the curvature, how it is change. But it will be hard for polygonal mesh. There's no, and you know, I am absolutely surprised how plain actually it is. So if we have look here, it will give us a shadow, enough shadow. But if we have a look at those cross section, it is actually very plain. So if we have a look here, yeah, it's not deep enough. It's 3 millimeters deep. Yeah, it has also different height, but 3 millimeters deep. That's I think, and I think it's great that I started to sculpt it, redoing it like that, because obviously shadows not enough, and the rendering is slightly teaching me there should be more contrast in here. And so I was quite naive when I wanted to choose a bigger pile part of the mesh. So yeah, so see you next time. Bye bye, thank you for watching. Give me comments, and I hope so. See you, bye.